Don't you think it's a little funny that the price for a prescription drug often, especially the patented ones, often is precisely just a couple of dollars under what Medicare will allow for it? It's funny, is that you see it all the time, and most people think about that and they think, well, that's just, drug company marketing. I would argue that's not marketing. That's anti-marketing, or what people like Dr. Morris Kleiner at the University of Minnesota would call and have written about rent seeking. It's essentially where you manipulate the levers of government for your own commercial advantage. How does this relate to Rutherford Hayes in Chapter 19 of Marketer in Chief? This is, in this era of history, is the era of Reconstruction, in the era of the carpetbaggers, people who would come from the North with many of the noblest intentions to help rebuild the South, its shattered economy and shattered social institutions. It should come as very little surprise, though, that much of what happened in reality on the ground was a lot about power and a lot about how do you control the levers of government to enrich yourself. Obviously, there are a lot of people who came and they established schools, especially for many of the new, now 4 million freed slaves and their children. A lot of great work was done, but there was also a lot of work that fell into the rent-seeking kind of category. Now, what I'd like to do in this excerpt is help people understand the difference between kind of marketing and rent-seeking and really what it is. I like to call it anti-marketing, and I'm going to make the case in this short excerpt. So here goes. To most people, when they hear the word marketing, they immediately translate it to advertising, promotion, or messaging. If they're being less kind, marketing is spin, puffery, or lying. That's understandable. By some estimates, the average American consumer sees more than 5,000 distinct pieces of promotional marketing each day. But as voluminous as that seems, thousands of advertisements simply represent what we can see. What we do not see is more important. Marketing is a much broader concept than simply advertising. Modern marketing is a mix of 4 distinct but interrelated concepts: product, price, place, and promotion. Product is this set of features unique to a product or service. Price, the exchange of value required to match buyer and seller. Place, the channels or locations where those transactions take place. And promotion, the communication strategies and tactics deployed. Rent seeking, also known as regulatory capture, is anti-marketing because it perverts and distorts each of the 4 aspects of our definition. Rent seeking, number 1, limits product options that would otherwise be available. 2, increases prices without adding value. 3, restricts availability of products and services geographically and prevents efficient distribution of resources. And 4, deceptively communicates quality and value that often does not exist. Faced with that choice, organizations can either A, create an efficient marketing mix to outcompete their rivals to gain market share, or, well, you guessed it, B, use their influence to persuade or bribe the government to restrict competition and market forces to their benefit. What do you think happens? Here's the thing. At a really high level, most modern organizations, especially the large ones, absolutely do both things. They both create an efficient marketing mix and they work to influence the levers of government. It happens all the time. It's kind of the key parts of lobbying. But it's important to understand the distinction between authentic marketing and regulatory capture and rent seeking. Those are very different things. The issue, though, is, well, why would you do that? Yeah, there are ethical issues on why you would or would not do that. There are competitive issues on why you would or would not do that. If your competitors are doing it and you're not, you could get screwed. But I think the key thing really boils down to ROI. In estimates, and I know Dr. Kleiner has worked through, and others, the impact of regulatory capture is 10 to 100x the return on investment of marketing. So if you could spend $100 on a marketing campaign or $100 to influence a regulation, the marketing campaign will not deliver, at least in the short term, the kind of return on investment that influencing a law where essentially you're forcing people into a particular path that they might not otherwise have chosen, that just delivers a stronger ROI, especially in the short term. Now, in the chapter, I walk through how that strategy in the medium to long term absolutely backfires. But you have to wait till July 4th for that. Marketer in Chief comes out. The ebook is already going, and I'm actually in the process this week of getting all the print book pre-orders ready as well. So as soon as they're ready, I will let everybody know. But you can go to marketerinchief.com, and if you want the ebook, you can pre-order that right now. Thanks. Go do that.